All right, let's not play no games. I need full-on participation. I need you to get down in the comments and work with me. Who should not make this Team USA team? I'm gonna give you my roster that I would keep. Let me know if you agree or not.
No hesitation, no diplomatic answer, just straight to the point about who shouldn't make Team USA. And what's fascinating here is the confidence behind that statement, because what we're about to break down challenges some deeply held assumptions about how USA basketball builds rosters. This isn't just fan speculation anymore. There's a legitimate debate happening about whether experience should trump current performance, and the answer might surprise you.
The GOAT, Caitlin Clark, should be the starting point guard for Team USA. Duh. The best thing that ever did it. Caitlin Clark starting at point guard. Jackie Young should be starting at shooting guard. That is what I believe it should be. That should be the starting backcourt right there. We move on to the wing position. I got Kahleah Copper starting at.
That starting five right there represents a complete philosophical shift. Caitlin Clark at point guard, Jackie Young at the 2, Kahleah Copper at the 3, Draka Hami at the 4, and Aaliyah Boston at center. Notice what's missing: the traditional USA basketball approach of loading up on veterans and Olympic experience. This lineup prioritizes current form, chemistry, and, frankly, the future of the program. And here's why this matters more than just roster speculation. USA basketball has historically valued continuity. Players who've been through Olympic cycles together, who know the system, who've earned their spots through years of international competition. That's how Chelsea Gray made the Paris Olympics roster in 2024. Despite Caitlin Clark having arguably the most dominant rookie season in WNBA history, the decision to leave Clark off that team sparked massive controversy, with fans pointing out that she led the league in assists and three-point shooting while Gray was recovering from injury.
I have Kelsey Plum coming off the bench. Obviously, Kelsey Plum should make this team. I think the backcourt is set between Caitlin Clark, Jackie Young, Paige Beckers, and Kelsey Plum. You got all you need at the guard spot. You really you really don't need no more guards after that, for real. You need wings and bigs. You don't really need no more guards after those four.
For guards, that's the entire backcourt rotation: Caitlin Clark, Jackie Young, Paige Beckers, and Kelsey Plum. And the argument here is actually pretty compelling when you look at the numbers. Clark averaged 19.2 points and 8.4 assists per game as a rookie, leading the Fever to the playoffs for the first time since 2016. Young won a championship with the Aces and earned all WNBA honors. Plum is a proven Olympic gold medalist from the Paris Games. And Beckers, despite missing most of her UConn career with injuries, showed in her return that she's still one of the most talented scorers in women's basketball. But here's the tension. That guard rotation leaves out Chelsea Gray entirely. Gray, who won Finals MVP with the Aces in 2022, who's been a cornerstone of USA basketball for years, and who brings playoff experience and clutch performance. The counterargument would be that Gray turns 32 in October 2024 and dealt with foot and leg injuries throughout the season. She played in only 26 games during the 2024 WNBA season, averaging 10.3 points and 4.4 assists. Those are solid numbers, but they're not elite anymore.
At the 4-5 off the bench, this might surprise some of y'all. Y'all gonna see where I'm going. I got Cameron Brink. On my team. I don't know about y'all. I got Cameron Brink coming off the bench for this team. I have Rickea Jackson coming off the bench on the wing for this team. I also have Kiki Area Finn coming off the bench as a backup big on this team. We have one spot left. Between Angel Reese.
And here's where it gets really interesting. 3 wings off the bench: Satu Sabali, Ryan Howard, and Rickea Jackson. Wait, that's not what was said. Let me correct that. The actual picks were Sonia Citron from the Washington Mystics and Rakia Jackson, plus Cameron Brink at the 4 or 5, Kiki Harrion as backup big, and Angel Ree as the final roster spot, Cameron Brink over Brittany Gurrier. That's the choice that's going to generate the most debate. Gurrier is 6 feet 9 inches, a 2-time Olympic gold medalist, and one of the most dominant defensive presences in women's basketball history. She averaged 17.8 points, 6.6 rebounds, and 1.5 blocks per game in the 2024 season. At age, she's been the defensive anchor for Team USA in multiple international competitions, but Brink represents something different. At 22 years old, she's the future. She was the second overall pick in the 2024 WNBA draft, went to Stanford where she won a national championship, and brings modern versatility. She can protect the rim, switch onto guards, and stretch the floor with her shooting. The problem? She tore her ACL in June 2024, missing the rest of her rookie season. So, this roster projection is clearly looking ahead to future competitions, not the immediate 2024 cycle.
And being just a role player, which is what she should be. She's not a star go-to player. Rebound, and that's it. That's all. Rebound and play defense. That's all you got to do. That should be your role, but your team in the WNBA sucks so bad that you're trying to do more, and that's just not you. Angel Reese makes my final 12. So who didn't make my cut? It's a lot of y'all looking like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You got that right. Chelsea Gray didn't make my team. I'm over all these old people. Look, Chelsea Gray's done her thing. She shouldn't even been in the Olympics. Caitlin Clark, rookie year. Caitlin Clark should have had that spot.
Angel Ree makes the final spot. And the reasoning here is actually pretty sound, even if it's delivered bluntly. Ree averaged 13.6 points and 13.1 rebounds per game as a rookie with the Chicago Sky, setting the WNBA record for consecutive double-doubles with 15 straight games. She's an elite rebounder and brings defensive intensity, but the analysis is correct that her role should be limited. She's not a go-to scorer. She's not running the offense. She's grabbing rebounds, playing physical defense, and doing the dirty work. The Sky struggled in 2024, finishing 13th in 27 and missing the playoffs. And when Ree tried to expand her role beyond rebounding and defense, the efficiency numbers dropped. She shot 39.1% from the field and had a usage rate that was probably higher than it should have been, given her skill set. On Team USA, surrounded by elite scorers and playmakers, she wouldn't need to do more than rebound and defend. That's actually the perfect role for her spot.
We got 4 of the top guards in the league. Every guard I named, in my opinion, is better than Chelsea Gray. Caitlin Clark is better than Chelsea Gray. Paige Beckers is better than Chelsea Gray. Jackie Young is better than Chelsea Gray. Kelsey Plum is better than Chelsea Gray. We don't need Chelsea Gray on this team. No disrespect. You did your thing. You've had your fair share of Olympic runs. It's time for the new generation. Time for us to move on. Brittany Griner did not make this team. Brittany Griner, now you can always use that 6'9" size.
So let's talk about who got cut and why this matters. Chelsea Gray, Brittany Gurrier, and Veronica Burton didn't make this projected roster. And the explanation given is generational change, moving on from veterans to build around the next wave of stars. Here's the context that makes this complicated. USA basketball doesn't typically operate this way. They value institutional knowledge. They value players who understand international basketball, which has different rules, different officiating, and a different pace than the WNBA. The three-point line is shorter in FIBA competition. The lane is wider. The game is more physical. Veterans who've played in multiple Olympics and World Cups know how to adjust. That's why someone like Sue Bird played for Team USA until she was 41 years old, winning her 5th Olympic gold medal in Tokyo at age 40. That's why Diana Taurasi was still on the Paris Olympics roster at age 42, becoming the oldest player in Olympic basketball history. USA Basketball trusts veterans because they deliver in high-pressure international games, but there's a counterargument building momentum. The gap between the US and the rest of the world is shrinking. Team USA won gold in Paris, but several games were closer than expected. Australia pushed them. France had leads. The days of winning by 30 points every game are over. And maybe that means it's time to prioritize athleticism, shooting, and the players who are dominating the WNBA right now, not the players who dominated 5 years ago.
We got Hamby, we got Angel Reese, we got we got Kiki, we got some bigs, we got some size, we good. And Veronica Burton didn't make this team. No, love Veronica Burton, love her as a player, but this team is already stacked with guards. So Veronica Burton did not make the cut for my final roster. So I'm going to read you the final roster again, Caitlin.
Let's run through the final 12 one more time and analyze what this roster construction actually accomplishes. Caitlin Clark, Jackie Young, Kala Copper, Durga Hami, Aaliyah Boston, Paige Beckers, Kelsey Plum, Sonia Citron, Cameron Brink, Angel Ree, Rakia Jackson, and Kiki Hurrian. The average age of this roster would be somewhere in the mid-20s. That's significantly younger than typical USA basketball rosters. The Paris Olympics team had an average age over, missing number. This represents a fundamental reset, essentially saying the Olympic cycle that included Tokyo and Paris is over, and we're building toward 2028 in Los Angeles and beyond. The positional balance is interesting, too. For pure guards, which seems like a lot until you remember that international basketball is guard-dominated. FIBA games are won and lost on the perimeter. Three-point shooting matters more than post play in the modern international game. Having 4 elite guards who can all shoot, pass, and handle pressure defense makes sense. The frontcourt is where this gets experimental. Hamby, Boston, Brink, Ree, and Hurrian. That's a lot of size and versatility, but not a lot of traditional back-to-the-basket post-scoring. This roster would play fast, shoot threes, and rely on athleticism rather than grinding it out in the paint. That's a very modern approach to basketball, and it matches how the game is evolving globally.
Should be on this Team USA team. Get down in the comments. Let me know what you think. Who's on your team? Who would you take off of my list? I think I know who a lot of y'all say. Get down in the comments. Let me know.
Here's what this debate is really about. It's not just about 12 roster spots for one tournament. It's about the identity of USA basketball going forward and whether the organization is willing to make hard decisions about legacy versus current performance. Chelsea Gray is a perfect example of this tension. She's a champion, a finals MVP, an Olympic gold medalist. She's earned respect through years of elite play, but in 2024, she wasn't a top FED guard in the WNBA anymore, maybe not top 10. Injuries and age have taken their toll. So, do you reward past performance and hope she can recapture that form for a tournament, or do you go with someone who's playing at a higher level right now? The same question applies to Brittany Gurrier. She's still productive, still one of the best shot blockers in the world, but she's 33 years old, and her mobility isn't what it was 5 years ago. Cameron Brink, if healthy, might not be as dominant defensively yet, but she's got more versatility and more upside. So, what's the priority? Proven championship pedigree or future potential? USA basketball has always leaned toward the veterans. That's why the Paris Olympics roster included Diana Taurasi, who barely played during the tournament but was there for leadership and experience. That's why Breanna Stewart and Alyssa Thomas were automatic selections despite injury concerns. The organization values continuity and trust, but the Caitlin Clark decision changed the conversation, leaving the most popular player in women's basketball off the Olympic roster and generating massive backlash. Viewership for Fever Games averaged over 1 million viewers on several occasions during the 2024 season, with some games reaching 2.3 million on networks like ABC. Meanwhile, Olympic basketball viewership was strong, but not dramatically higher than WNBA regular season games featuring Clark. The optics were terrible. It looked like USA basketball was punishing Clark for being a rookie, even though she was clearly one of the 12 best players in the country. That decision might force USA basketball to reconsider how they build rosters. If performance matters, if current ability matters, if fan interest and star power matter, then you can't just default to veterans anymore. You have to make tough choices. You have to tell champions that their time is up. You have to prioritize what's happening on the court right now over what happened 3 years ago. And that's uncomfortable. Sports organizations hate making those decisions because they create controversy and hurt feelings. It's easier to just keep running it back with the same core until they age out naturally. But easier doesn't mean better, and if USA Basketball wants to stay ahead of the rest of the world, they might need to get comfortable with uncomfortable roster decisions. The roster proposed here forces all of those conversations. It says Chelsea Gray's time is done. It says Brittany Gurrier isn't essential anymore. It says youth and current performance trump legacy. That's a bold stance, and it's probably not what USA Basketball will actually do, but it's worth debating whether they should, because here's the reality. In 2028, the Olympics are in Los Angeles. The pressure to win gold on home soil will be immense. And the roster that gives USA Basketball the best chance to win might not be the roster that honors past contribution. It might be the roster that prioritizes shooting, speed, versatility, and players in their prime. It might be the roster that looks a lot like what was just proposed. Caitlin Clark running the point, surrounded by shooters and athletes, Aaliyah Boston protecting the rim, Paige Beckers providing scoring punch off the bench, Angel re-grabbing every rebound in sight. That's a roster built to win in 2028, not a roster built to reward 2024 accomplishments. So, the question isn't really whether this exact roster is correct. The question is whether USA Basketball is ready to embrace this philosophy. Are they ready to prioritize performance over pedigree? Are they ready to tell legends that the next generation is here? Are they ready to build around Caitlin Clark the way they built around Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi for 15 years? Because if they're not, if they keep defaulting to veterans, experience, and loyalty, they might find themselves in trouble. The rest of the world isn't standing still. Australia has talent, France has talent, Spain, Canada, Belgium, China, they're all getting better. The gap is closing. And the only way to maintain dominance is to put the best possible roster on the floor, not the most decorated roster. That's what makes this debate so important. It's not about disrespecting Chelsea Gray, Brittany Gurrier, or any other veteran. It's about acknowledging that sports move forward. Generations change, and the players who were dominant 5 years ago might not be the players who should be representing the country. The roster that was just proposed is aggressive, youth-focused, and built around current performance. It prioritizes shooting, versatility, and players who are dominating the WNBA right now. It would be controversial. It would upset people. But it might also be the roster that gives USA Basketball the best chance to win gold in Los Angeles. So, what do you think? Is it time for USA Basketball to move on from the veterans and build around the next generation? Or do experience and championship pedigrees still matter more than current stats? Should Caitlin Clark be the starting point guard? Or does she still need to earn that spot behind established players? And most importantly, if you were selecting this roster, who would you cut and who would you keep? Drop it down in the comments and let me know, because this debate is just getting started.